Everything that's happening to you is God is processing you. Every difficult moment you're having, he just processing. That's all he doing.
If you don't believe in God, then it's pretty messed up because now you only got you to believe in. But if you got you and God, you can believe in both of those.
Whatever journey you're on, you can't be envious of somebody else. You can't look over in their yard and go, why ain't I rocking like that person? It's not your time. God don't want that to happen for you like that. You just keep doing what you doing, and there's no bad in your life. It's all good. Just be grateful along the way to God. Trust God in this journey. He got you.
There's only one way, one direction. If you're at the bottom, there's only one way, but you got to look up. And when you look up, there's somebody there waiting for you. His name is G.O.D. And he's there with a hand, reaching out, waiting for you to take control of your life.
Everything you're going through is preparing you for what you ask God for. And if you need to be tough when you get to where you're going, then he gonna toughen you.
Don't try to thirst to be nobody else. Don't question when something bad happens to you. Just know that God's trying to make you stronger. Just be grateful for who you are on this journey.
I don't wonder why stuff gets moved out of my way because I asked for things to be moved out of my way.
I think there are many things that science can explain. There are certain things science can't explain, but I'll even go a step further, which is that all the elements of science are entirely compatible with the idea of there being a God.
I learned one very important lesson. Your relationship with God is like that of a captain and a crew member. One rows, the other one steers. But it's very interesting because many times in our life, we want to get confident and cocky and arrogant. And God says, I steer, but I do not row. We need to put in the work, and God will guide.
God doesn't give you the people you want. He gives you the people you need to help you, to hurt you, to leave you, to love you, and to make you the person you were meant to be.
If you got to be more caring along the way, he gonna let you have some trials come your way that's gonna have to produce that in you.
There's no better pathway to self-realization and the ennoblement of being than to posit the highest good that you can conceive of and commit yourself to it. And then you might also ask yourself, and this is definitely worth asking, do you really have anything better to do? And if you don't, well, why would you do anything else?
Put God first in everything you do. Everything that you think you see in me, everything that I've accomplished, everything that you think I have, and I have a few things, everything that I have is by the grace of God.
If you can list the fucked up things that have happened in your life and you can put that on a list and you somehow made it past all of this, to be in a position where you can still go make some stuff happen, that's what you have in common with every hero of every story, of every autobiography, of every...
Wow.
Is how much happened to you that should have broke you, that did not break you, so that you were able to then
start walking and start looking for opportunities.
I pray out loud in the morning.
It's giving you peace?
Oh, my goodness. It's given me so much. It's given me peace. And you know, it's going to sound weird and probably people are going to be like, what are you talking about? If it works. It works. There's a way in which certain things I was grappling with, I just couldn't resolve. I couldn't do it. And it was all internal. And I just couldn't do it.
The rewards you get in terms of self-esteem and self-story, what you think of yourself, will be correlated to the size of the commitment you keep when no one is watching. So if you say to yourself, I'm going to do this when no one is watching, we don't think it's important to keep those commitments. We think lying to ourselves is, there's no punishment for that. I actually think the greatest consequence in life is not keeping commitments to yourself. I think it compounds as personal evidence, which is deposited in this instruction manual of who you are and how you behave and how you show up and what you're capable of. All those tiny little commitments, like you don't have to move Mount Everest, you don't need to go on a 7-day ayahuasca retreat. How about when you said you were going to get in bed at 10 p.m, you do that? The commitments we keep to ourselves, if we say those are the most important things for compounding that evidence in our favor, everybody can start there today. But the next thing you do in the next hour, can you keep that commitment to yourself?
When you weren't given the gifts, the only thing you can do in life is stay hard. And I know people cannot stand me. They can't stand this talk. This is all you can do. There's no magic pill or a magic potion. All you can do is outwork the man that God created or woman in you. And what that looks like is unfun.
God will test you with suffering. God will test you with challenges. God will test you with difficulties. God will test you with hard times. But that is when the proof of your faith is manifested, not when everything is given to you, not when it's easy, not when times are simple, but in the challenges. Do you curse God or do you bless him for giving you the opportunity to experience these challenges, experiencing difficulties to become better and to get closer to him?
I also think that God is pleased with you when you show him the beauty of his creation. I think that God is pleased with you when you work as hard as you possibly can and you do the best you can in anything you're going to attempt. God loves people who work hard and try hard. And in my own personal life, I can see that God is very happy with me when I give it 100%.
Purpose crosses disciplines. Purpose is an essential element of you. It is the reason you are on the planet at this particular time in history. Your very existence is wrapped up in the things you are here to fulfill. Whatever you choose for a career path, remember the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose. When God has something for you, it doesn't matter who stands against it. God will move someone that's holding you back away from a door and put someone there who will open it for you.
People will not see the truth. They will see what they want to see. I don't want to live like that. Good. And you will live exactly the way you live now, questioning who you are, wondering what is possible, wondering what you are capable of doing. That's how that looks.
Instead of looking at the future, right, what you haven't been able to achieve, looking into a future that you haven't created, look into the past and realize how much progress you've made, how much better you are today than you were before, and let that progress fuel you to continue working towards becoming the next version of yourself. The journey, the process is the prize. The prize isn't the destination, it's the process, it's who you become.
And very few people give anything 100% anymore. It's very rare you meet somebody and if they're honest with themselves and with you and with God, say, I gave it everything I had. They gave it some, they tried a bit, they got demotivated, they got distracted, they got tempted. But when you truly give your 100% to something, I think that makes God very happy with you. And I think he rewards us.
What's the biggest irrational fear that you have besides being unsuccessful? Not being enough or not being good enough, but just that energy, the sense that you always need to prove yourself. You always need to sort of offer the world something in order for it to love you back. The fear of not being enough. The weird thing is that it is potent fuel to drive you to go and do some pretty magnificent things.
And people miss out on this, man. The purpose, we're all looking for this golden purpose. Is it this? Is it that? Is it making money? Is it my family? Motherfucker, the purpose is you. We forget that. Every fucking day I wake up and I don't want to do some fucking shit. I'm like, okay, man, do you want to be a bitch today? Do you want to feel like a little bitch? Do you want to walk around all day knowing that you could, but you didn't? You have to learn how to get up and do shit when you ain't got no fucking 5K, no 10K, nothing. Nothing exists. Your life fucking sucks. You're in the fucking dungeon. But guess what, motherfucker? I'm still going to get it. Because when that time comes, the time is going to come. When that purpose is there, you'll be ready.
The greatest version of you demands that you are extreme. I can tell you this, that every great person I know has this extreme personality, this intense, passionate desire to cut out negativity, to constantly lean into the sides of their comfort zone, to keep the promises to themselves, even when you don't feel like doing things, by the way.
The truth is, whatever game you play in life, sometimes you're going to lose. A point, a match, a season, a job. It's a roller coaster with many ups and downs. And it's natural when you're down to doubt yourself and to feel sorry for yourself. And by the way, your opponents have self-doubt too. Don't ever forget that. But negative energy is wasted energy. You want to become a master at overcoming hard moments. That is, to me, the sign of a champion. The best in the world are not the best because they win every point. It's because they know they'll lose again and again and have learned how to deal with it. You accept it, cry it out if you need to, and then force a smile.
No matter what walk of life you're in, once you get to a certain level of success, you have to be a certain type of person to stay hungry and get out and fight every day. When we sold in 2016, 99% of the people said that I was going to retire and walk away. I'm not wired like that. I will never retire. I will keep dogging this out until the day I drop dead.
Most people don't go and they don't chase their dreams because the people around them tell them shit that just isn't true. Hey, be realistic. You need to be thankful. Don't forget where you came from. We hear all this shit every day from a bunch of losers, and it gets in our heart and our mind, and it causes us to hesitate. Your goal here is to realize that we only have one existence, we only have one opportunity, and you need to ask yourself, what are you going to value at the the end of your life? Are you going to value the work that you did? Are you going to value the things that you created? Or are you going to value doing what everybody else expected of you?
If you could be everything you could be, you have to voluntarily take on the weight of the worst life has to offer, including the depths of malevolence itself. How are you going to adapt to a situation you won't even admit to?
Right.
Well, so how could it be otherwise than for you to become everything that you could be? You have to embrace all of the catastrophes that life has to offer. Like, how could it be other than that? You're going to hide? You're going to pretend? How's that going to work? No one thinks that'll work.
To live in the future is your inability to live in the present. And people that live in the future are often unhappy. Why? Because they want to be something that they're not. Look at the past, look at who you've become, the progress that you've made. And if you haven't made a lot of progress, just be happy at the fact that you're fucking alive, because you have the chance to make progress. And live in the present moment, here, now, and use your time, energy, and attention, my friend, to pursue your goal.
You have to fight a war against yourself. Now, it's not easy to look in the mirror and to change your own life. It's hard as hell. You have to take responsibility. You have to learn new things. You have to feel uncomfortable.
I think it's good to remember that if we just go along with the crowd, we won't wind up with much more than the wish that we could do it all over again, and as far as we know, you can't. If we want to amount to anything as individuals, we need individual goals, individual thinking, individual actions, and we must never conform to the big group.
And the people that are a little bit off, a little bit crazy, they have the least amount of doubt. They have the least amount of doubt. You usually have doubt because of what somebody else is going to think of you.
If you run away from discomfort and resistance your whole life, you will always be weak. You have to struggle. You have to build strength. If you want to grow as a person, you really have to make friends with pain. Embrace the discomfort. Enjoy the struggle.
Nobody can fuck with you.
A lot of guys don't want to go back into that water. Don't want to go back into the hard stuff. And maybe not anything hard. When something sucks so bad in life, very few people want to go back. I realized I'm the same way. I don't want to go back. I have to go back. I must go back, because that is exactly where all the knowledge of my life exists.
You have to look straight ahead and not look over here at your worries and your fears. If you start to stare at these fears, you move towards them. You got to stay focused on where you're going, not the wall. You've got to stay focused on where you're going, on the race ahead, not the wall of your life. There's going to be a wall the entire time, and that wall was trying to get you to look at it so that you'll subconsciously begin to move off your game, move off your vision, move off your dream, and into the wall and crash.
Battle not with monsters, lest ye become a monster.
Yeah.
And if you gaze into the abyss gazes also into you.
Right. But I would say, bring it on. If you gaze into the abyss long enough, you see the light, not the darkness.
Are you sure about that?
I'm betting my life on it.
You have two paths in front of you right now. One of them is going to be the harder one today. It's going to be downright painful. You will have to force your brain to think in new ways. You might lose some friends who want to hold on to their weak beliefs. As you pull yourself away from that anger and that hate, eventually you will start to feel empowered.
I'm unbeatable. I can't be beat. It's impossible. You condemn me. You can damage me. You're never ever going to beat me. I'm totally and completely, unequivocally unbeatable.
And as I've said since day one, it's motivation is a feeling that comes and goes, and it doesn't matter whether it's there or not. Discipline is infinitely more important. So no matter how you feel, get up and do what you're supposed to do. That's it. And that's discipline. It's not motivation. If you only did what you were supposed to do when you were motivated to do it, that's leaving it to chance. But if you're disciplined, you go do what you're supposed to do. That's the way it works.
Nobody knows what you are. Even sometimes you don't really even know what you are. You got to take your shot. And as much as you want people to agree and you want the people around you to be supporting your dreams and all, it's not going to be like that all the time. You got to do it alone.
But if you believe that you're good at what you do and you strive to be good at what you do, you don't need to worry about what other people think. You need to be able to understand that you have your own confidence that you can do whatever whatever it is you're required to do, and other people will see that confidence in you. The minute you start doubting yourself, other people will see that you're doubting yourself, and that becomes a weakness in your personality. You always want to be confident in everything you do, that you can do it, you can get it done, you'll find a way to get it done.
When you're suffering, doing something that's harder than the state that you're in bounces you back much faster. Well, it's just something that's easier than the thing that you're supposed to do. If you do something that's even harder than the thing that you're trying to avoid, all of a sudden you're able to do that. And you're like, oh, okay, well, it's just psychology, right? No, it's not psychology alone. It's psychology, but you're a different person.
There's no perfect way to live your 20s. You either live them up and become an underskilled 30-year-old, or you work them up and become an underlived 30-year-old. You just have to figure out which you'd rather be, accept the trade-offs, and know that there are no do-overs.
There are more people that I have met in my life who are dissatisfied by their live-it-up 20s than dissatisfied by their work-it-up 20s. Most of the time in your 20s, you have no idea what you want. Knowing what you need to do to work and move ahead is fairly straightforward. And so you can take the known and make progress on the one that you have high confidence that you can make progress on. And then along the way, gain perspective on what are the things that are actually important to you in your life. And you may find out often that there are far fewer of those things than you really originally thought. Because what you thought live 'em up in your 20s was actually your mom and your two homies who are both mediocre, and you don't care about their opinion now when you're 30 anyways. But what a waste of a life it would have been to, quote, live up your mom's dream or your friend's dreams to then only get to your 30s and realize you didn't live it up and you also didn't work it up. And now you have neither.
When you have that little voice in your head that starts rationalizing and starts debating with your discipline and starts making excuses, think about where you're going to be in a week. Think about where you're going to be in a month. Think about where you're going to be in a year, and then get disciplined right now.